Joseph Parker versus Zhilei Zhang, set to take place on March 8th, as they're currently slated to be the co-main event of Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou. Being good enough to headline its own card, the boxing world is making their predictions for this fight. Zhang's former rival Joe Joyce believes that Zhang will probably beat Joseph Parker, but also sees a possibility for Parker to come on top. Joyce stated, "He's Parker, a younger fighter than Zhang. If he can push him to those later rounds and Zhang gets tired, that's when you'll see Parker put some shots together and he could potentially knock him out." Parker can be a bit more of a mover. Zhang's feet are very static, but he holds that power and speed. He's tough as well, so Parker's going to have to box in and out. Maybe he's better at fighting southpaws than me. If I was a betting man, I would probably bet on Zhang, but I would like to see Parker win. Tyson Fury's father, John Fury, believes that Joseph's victory over Deontay Wilder was impressive, but not impressive enough to make him a favorite against Zhang.
I'm not going back on what I said. Wilder was shot to pieces, never threw a punch. You know, a kid at infant school could have probably beat Wilder on that night because Tyson bashed him up that much, he's not got over it. Took every bit of fight out of him. There's just 3 hard encounters. But he did what he had to do. Joe was in the right place at the right time, but I think Zhang is a different opposition. Still fresh, still strong, still hungry, not got a 100 million mile on the clock, and he's banging with both hands and he's a bloody southpaw.
Sergio Mora seems confident in Joseph Parker, as he believes that Joseph Parker was going to beat Zhang just like he beat Wilder. Mora stated, "You said I was crazy. Parker is not going to decide with a puncher like Wilder, but the strategy did it. Yes, it went to decision. Yes, he beat up Wilder. He got him on the back foot because he executed a game plan that he and Andy Lee had. You can bet they are going to have something similar for an even bigger, slower heavyweight in Zhilei Zhang." Mora thinks that Zhang's age is going to play an important factor in this fight. Mora stated, "At 40 years old, the legs have to be going, and he's a plodding puncher. I like the fight, but if you're asking me who I favor, I'm always going to favor a boxer over a puncher, most of the time." Now, this boxer, Joseph Parker, has momentum after beating a big, strong heavyweight like Deontay Wilder on the big stage. I think that confidence is going to go through the roof. And add activity to the mix. Activity to a boxer-puncher like Joseph Parker means he's only going to be more lethal against a plodding, heavy southpaw puncher that when he misses, he falls off balance. You can bet Parker is going to be sticking and moving, not standing in front of him and using his angels. He does that, and I think he stops Zhilei Zhang. Zhilei Zhang had good words to say about Joseph Parker. Parker accepted the fight without any hesitation, which impressed Zhang. Zhang stated, "I was a little surprised that Parker took the fight with me so fast. That says a lot about this guy. He's a warrior. He doesn't pick and choose his opponents. I give him a lot of respect." Nick Campbell also believes that if Joseph Parker has a solid game plan against Zhang, Joseph will stop Zhang between rounds 6 and 10.
Don't disagree with anything you've just said, but out with Joe Joyce, who's Zhang fought, he's not really, the only other fight he's been in was with Hergovich and he got beat. A lot of people thought it was a close fight, but I think if you watch it back, you would be hard pressed not to give it Hergovich. You know, Joe's been in and mixed it with the best. Obviously, he spoke about the Joe Joyce fight, but there was a lot going on prior to that camp, which, you know, it's not my place to talk about any of it, but you know, maybe it wasn't quite, the timing for Joe wasn't quite 100% going into that fight. So listen, it's timing, styles that make fights. I think Joe's going to have a game plan with Andy, and obviously have done the work in the gym with George, out with the work in the boxing ring, that it's going to give him the edge in this fight. And I think I'm going to be controversial. I'm going to go for Joe to stop him between rounds 6 and 10.
However, Zhang is super confident in his abilities and believes that he'll knock out Joseph Parker. Zhang stated, "I really think my fight against Parker will be very exciting, and possibly the most exciting of the night. Under normal circumstances, our fight would be the main event, but these amazing cards in Saudi Arabia presented by His Excellency are so special that I'm just happy to play a part in one of them. The fight against Parker will be very different than the fight against Joyce. My preparation, approach, and game plan will be different for Parker. Parker performed great against Deontay Wilder, and anything can happen in boxing. I am expecting a tough fight, but I think I will win by knockout for sure. I have the power to win in style." Fabio Wardley believes that Joseph Parker is on the run of his life. The momentum that Parker carries from his previous wins is something that Wardley highlighted. Wardley stated, "Yeah, great fight. I'm buzzing. I'm really buzzing. I spoke to Joe the other day fondly enough. He messaged me when the fight got announced and congratulated me and stuff. I said, mate, you're smashing it, because he's such a genuine guy as well. It's great to see him on such a great run doing really well, and I think he can do the job as well, with the form he's in. the momentum he has behind him, Andy Lee behind him as well, I think he can do a lot. Confidence can also be seen in Joseph Parker, as he wants the best out of Zhang in their fight. Parker stated, "Going into this fight, I have a lot better movement than Joe Joyce. I think with Zhang, it's important to stick and move. With Zhang, he does tire in a lot of his fights. I'm not counting him tiring. I want the best Zhang, and I want him for 12 rounds. I want to give him my best in this fight. So stick and move, and combinations, and letting my hands go." If Parker does emerge victorious, he will have to face Zhang for a second time, as there is a rematch clause built into the contract. Parker believes that he will beat Zhang twice to get his title opportunity. Joe stated, "Yeah, fight Zhang and win, and then fight him again at the end of the year. Then win again, and I'll be free to fight anyone else." I guess I see where they're coming from. They're trying to protect what Zhang has, and they did the same thing when Zhang fought Joe Joyce. So I have to beat him twice in order to move on and fight for the championship of the world. I just want to get in there for the hardest fights and do the best that I can. Parker's manager David Higgins believes that Parker's fight with Zhang is more tougher than a title fight. Higgins stated, "I think Zhang could be tougher than the world title fight. He's an awkward mix of southpaw, size, power, and on his day, he'd be as tough as anyone. For Joseph Parker, he's got to have another blender like he did against Wilder to beat Zhang." Boxing journalist Michael Benson wrote on his X handle, "Zhilei Zhang does indeed want to fight Deontay Wilder on the Anthony Joshua versus Francis Ngannou undercard on March 8th. His co-manager Terry Lane has stated, "It's been reported that Zhang and Wilder may both be on the card, potentially even fighting one another." Parker looks very ready, as just recently he was seen grinding in the gym for his big clash Who do you think will come on top in this battle of behemoths? Do let us know in the some of our other videos on the screen right now.